Hello and welcome back to Where Are All My Friends? I'm your host, Andrew Cram, and damn it, I am excited about this episode. It is with Travie McCoy from Gym Class Heroes and his own solo project. And this is one of those dream come true episodes. He was so influential to me in the early days of me discovering music. And I think there's so much about him that people might not realize of how much he paved the way with the amount of culture that he influenced and people that he helped in their careers. He's just this fascinating dude that I have so much respect for. And we got to talk about all of that. You can hear me in this episode nerding out and like the genuine excitement. I think you're really going to love this one if you know the band really, really well and his projects really, really well. Or if you've never heard of him, it will be extremely insightful, especially if you're an old Warped Tour kid like myself. And if you paid attention to that scene and the golden era of Fueled by Ramen and all of that stuff, you are in for a treat. And another really special thing about this episode is as there are so many stories and references and moments, my incredible editor and producer, Deanna, wanted to try something new and incorporate some visual elements. So if you didn't know, there is a Where Are All My Friends YouTube channel where you can watch the podcast, and you can even watch it now on Spotify. So video in this episode is pretty cool and has a lot in it. So if you have been listening and not watching, I recommend you go watch this one because it's a fun one. All right, let's get into it. Where are all my friends? Travie McCoy. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Pete, yo,
Okay.
and I was talking to Hodge about this before we even did this. And I was like, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's a song called Where Are All My Friends by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. And I grew up on Philly Soul, and one of my favorite bands ever, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Rest in peace, Teddy Pendergrass. But the minute he was like, yeah, we're doing the Where Are All My Friends podcast, I was like, I automatically went to, you know what I mean, that song. I'm like, have you ever heard that song?
Dude, I have, and it's the only thing that competes with me in SEO. So it's like, yeah,
So
cause like you
so you
Google
know.
it and it beats me. And as it
You
should,
should use
because
it
it's a
as your
fucking
intro
legendary
song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sample that shit. I'll make you a beat. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my God. Because I was always afraid to. I was like, well, I can't just rip it. But it's like, it's kind of
Nah.
like,
I'll make you a beat. I'll sample and make you a beat, and you can use it as an intro.
that would be the most epic shit. It's like the best, it was the most accent. I didn't think about it when I did it. And then when I saw it, I was like, fuck yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Let's go.
And let's flip the script real quick. So what made you decide to call your cast Where Are All My Friends?
So it was, I had to name a tour with some other friends. And like, remember like back in the day when everything was just like some random tour, like Disaster Tour or whatever.
Or
like
the mega, or was it Monster?
Yeah, it was always like that shit. And like, you kind of just like stop, like you're like, you have to name it something, but like, and we were just kind of riffing, and it was like the Where Are All My Friends tour. Like it was just a bunch of homies going.
And you had
out.
no idea about the song, like
None, not
That's
at all.
Crazy.
And the podcast didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
And then I was like, shortly after, I was like, all right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do the pod. And I was way too significant. I was like the come up, the grind, the hustle, like, you know,
You're
just like the podcast where you learn to be inspired by this and that. Like I was so fucking on the nose. And I straight up, like, I was so like organized about it where I made a Google, like a form where you could like choose things.
Yeah.
And I sent it to all my closest friends, and I was like, no bias, like no bullshit, just
And they
like
were
pick what you
fucking with it.
love.
Yeah.
And I like somebody suggested Where Are All My Friends, and it was like the undisputed winner. And I was like, well, fuck me. Like, I guess it's that.
That's fucking awesome.
So,
shout out to my pops, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, that's so crazy. You
That's
know that
wild.
song.
But
no one's ever said that.
Another crazy thing is, like, since we're talking about dope tour names, the Daryl Hall for President tour, just saying, probably one of the dopest tour names ever. You're welcome.
Were you the one that would name tours?
Absolutely. For the most part, there was one tour that didn't happen, and I was really sad. We were going to do a short run around Halloween time, and we called it. I called it the Great. You know, you remember the Charlie Brown, the Great Pumpkin Caper or whatever.
Well, they would always have like the Charlie Brown specials.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So they had a Halloween. It was called the Great Pumpkin Caper. So and I called the tour the Great Pumpkin Smashing Caper, and we were all like, it was all of us, but we were drawn like
Charlie Brown,
Charlie Brown and the Peanuts crew. You know what I'm saying? It was gonna be so dope. It was only like 5 dates, but it was like all Halloween themed. You know what I'm saying?
Well, those were the
it never
tours.
went down, but
those were the ones where you could get crazy though. Like
Exactly.
the 5-day runs, it was like literally
I'm gonna save that
anything.
name. Though. Don't take my shit. Don't take my shit.
Yeah. Okay, so actually, though, this is a great segue because I was saying, like, right before we started, I'm really fucking honored to have you on. Like, you maybe don't realize how much you were an impact to my early days. And I not only did my homework before doing the pod, I've just seen your career. So the one thing that I don't want to do is tell your story over again. Like, you're no jumper. Like, you've done so many great interviews. So I'm like not trying to do that same thing.
And but I don't get that vibe from you at all. I feel like you want to talk, and
I want to talk.
I'm with it.
Oh my God. So I want to jump right into tours.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, I saw you when I was like, I would have been like 15, 16, and I was pretty sheltered. And I kind of like I was more hip hop, indie, alternative stuff before I was like Warped Tour music.
Word up.
And then I go to my first Warped Tour, I'm like 15, 16 years old, and I see Gym Class Heroes playing the MySpace acoustic tent. And I was like, stop the fucking presses. Like, what is this? What is this? And like Taxi Driver era. And I was like, what?
Yeah, it was that they were strange times, and I'll let you hop back.
No. Like that's where I want to start.
It was strange. It was strange times because we were like in this kind of globule of, you know, like there was definitely a scene, you know what I'm saying? And again, like, not to go back into my story, because I'm sure you probably heard this shit in a million areas, but like, I grew up a hardcore kid, you know what I'm saying? But also influenced by everything my dad listened to. My dad was a bass player. So it was like this dichotomy. And being biracial, like, I had, you know, the black side of my family that were like strictly into funk, hip hop and all this shit. And the white side of my family that were into metal and hair metal and all this shit. So it was like this crazy dichotomy. And so when I got to Warped Tour, and I'm like, where the fuck do we fit in? And I was like, you know what? We don't. And that's kind of a cool thing. You know what I'm saying? And I remember having a conversation with Matt from Gym Class. I was like, yo, like, I feel like this is like, there's a window for what's going on right now, because there was this formulaic thing going on Warped Tour. It was like, all right, sing here, scream there, sing here, scream there. I'm like, I seen them. It's like every band is doing the same goddamn thing. So I'm like, people are gonna get tired of this shit pretty soon. But I remember sitting them down, being like, yo, when this shit fizzles out, like, we'll still be standing triumphantly, because we're not catering to this crowd, but we're offering them something else. And it just it warms my heart that you picked up on that, you know, and that you happen to walk by that MySpace tent and catch us, you know what I'm saying? It really warms my heart, man.
Well, bro, like that's crazy. Like what you just said there, because I didn't grow up biracial. Like, I didn't grow up with nearly the same story as you, but I still felt kind of like that, like, not outcast kid, but my interests were all over the place. And I think at that time, you were a little bit more like categorized. Like, if you were a skate kid, you listened to this. If you were this kid, you listened to this. So like, I can only imagine, like, you're growing up, like, you found both of these genres. Were you a band kid forever? What did you get into
here's
first?
The thing. Like I said, I grew up listening to everything my father listened to. Hall & Oates was like, obviously, you know,
oh my God, I didn't even know.
Obviously the major thing that stuck with me from, you know, like, my father passing down what he was into. Yeah. And so, like, just to go back to what you were saying, like, coming up, I didn't latch on to anything until like high school, and I was like, there's nothing to latch onto. There's so much dope shit out there. And but back to the biracial shit, it was such a weird, well, one, let me take it back. Like,
please,
growing up and being a weird, like, fat kid that was into comic books, and I had my first tattoo when I was like 13 or 12 or 13. Shit. I mean, it was like a poking stick shit I did myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my dad beat my ass for it, but it's whatever. And so,
I mean, I probably would be pretty pissed at my kid for giving themselves a tattoo at 13.
Who wouldn't? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta live with this shit for the rest of your life. But it's since been covered up. But like, you know, going back to what you were saying, like, you know, how you felt sheltered and how you felt like closed off and outcasted, but and not to make my story more, you know, like, important than yours, because what you're saying is very important, but to add that aspect of like not feeling safe to be yourself by both races. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or by two races.
That is a whole struggle that I couldn't begin to understand.
So as you know, like having tattoos and piercings and shit in high school and listening to the Deftones and you know, like all this other shit that like the black side of my family wasn't really fucking with. They're like, oh, Travi's trying to be white. You know what I mean? And then I had, you know, white kids that I went to high school with, like, you can't listen to our music. You know what I mean? Like, it was like that, it was that serious. Like I'd wear like I remember I wore a Pantera shirt to school and they made me turn it inside out because I think it was like Far Beyond Driven, that Far Beyond Driven album. And it was like, if you look really, you can't really tell what it was. It just said Pantera.
Yeah.
And it was somebody's ass bent over and like a leather dildo being shoved into the ass. And I honestly, when I bought the shirt, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
I just wanted a Pantera shirt. Yeah. And I fucking love Pantera. And I went to school with it and they're like, yo, you either got to go home or you got to turn your shirt inside out. And I turned my shit inside out. But back to what I was saying. So then like white kids that I went to high school were like, you can't listen to Pantera. Or, you know, they would test me like, name one Pantera song.
Right. Like and, you were like the poser kid to them. Yeah, where you're like, bitch, I live this.
Absolutely. I'm not going to wear a t-shirt of a band or a t-shirt period that of something, I don't know, whether it's a brand, a band or whatever the fuck. Like, if I'm not fucking with it, I'm not wearing it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I constantly got tested by both sides. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was like the summer of my freshman year in high school when I said, fuck it, I don't care. I really don't care anymore. I bleached my hair. You know what I mean? Like when I had my septum pierced, like started getting more tattoos, you know what I'm saying? And there's just a point where you're just like, I don't have to make anybody feel anything. Like I don't have to prove anything to anyone. You know what I'm saying? And
the fact that you figured out that early is actually insane.
like looking back on it, it's like, I was pretty young.
Because here's my thing, is when I look at you, there is something about you, and I don't know how to structure this because I'm so excited and I want to talk about everything.
Good, man. I'm here.
But I think that whatever you figured out there has trickled on into your entire career. And I think people don't realize just how fucking ahead you actually are and have been. Wow. Because if you put something together when it wasn't fucking cool. Like now it's cool. Really easy and cool to put any genre together and it's so accessible, but like to be the half black, half white kid that listens to hip hop and metal and all of this like old school, like anything, you don't fit into any of those boxes.
None.
You're going to get an insane amount of judgment. Like you talk about it so much in like the past music, but like grew up fat kid, like everything against you had.
Everything.
But then come to Andrew's point of view. So call it 6. Yeah. How old are you 2006 when I see you?
Okay, so 81. Hodge, do the math, fam. Hold on. Hodge my manager's got the calculator out real quick.
Also shout out Hodge. 25.
I was 25. Okay.
25.
So when you were introducing me, I was 25. So
you were the coolest motherfucker I ever saw. And I think about that now. I wasn't that cool at 25. And like you were locked, dude. Like by that time, like you figured out.
Well, I like I said, I had stopped giving a fuck.
Right.
You know what I mean? I had completely stopped caring about making people happy. And I was a people pleaser my entire life. You know what I mean? Until I decided to please myself. You know what I'm saying? Like fuck whatever makes anybody else happy. I'm trying to make myself happy. And man, like looking back on those formative years where I was being like pretty much fucking berated and made to feel, you know, like I don't belong because I was different. Like I wish I would have figured that out sooner because I would have been a fucking hellion in high school. Like I would have been a hellion. Like I would have raised so much hell. Like, but I feel like, you know, you live and you learn.
I think you figured it out really early.
Yeah.
Because gym class starts what, 10th grade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
actually, Matt was in 9th. I was in 10th, but we were in the same class because I failed.
Oh my God. But like, dude, that's early. Like to have that locked. And I think like the thing that I think about is in hindsight, that was the coolest shit ever. But the cool shit isn't cool in the beginning. No one understands
Oh, absolutely not.
No one understands it. I want to know what that felt like. Like, I want, please, like, tell me, like, gym class happens. You have a vision. You're doing something that isn't screaming, singing, screaming, singing, screaming, singing.
Well, let me, I don't want to stop you, but
nope, that's all I had
there
to
was
say.
no vision.
There was
really?
No
vision. So there was no mission statement with Gym Class Heroes. It was like, like we were, and I don't know, I'm sure you know the story of Gym Class Heroes, how it went down, but I was playing drums in a punk band called The Antisocial, and I was horrible.
Really?
And we played a graduation party for a friend of mine, and Gym Class Matt was in another band called Hey Little Buddy, but they didn't have a singer. So they were just literally just playing instrumentals, doing covers and shit. Matt let me use his drums that night, and I beat the shit out of him. Like, and I could see him side stage, like, this motherfucker. Like, and I'm just like, on my Aaron Gillespie shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, oh God. Like, beat the shit out of his drums. Like, he's just over. I could see him like gritting his teeth, like, this mother. But then, like, so they did like another set of instrumentals after our set. There was a mic, and I was like, fuck it. Like, so I just went up and started freestyling, and I was like, these dudes are kind of dope, and this shit sounds kind of cool. And then I saw the reaction from the kids at the party. I'm like, yeah, word. And we got up like 2.5 weeks later, and in Milo, the original guitarist from Gym Class Heroes, who is now he started Rah Rah Riot. I'm not sure if
wait, what the fuck, actually?
Yeah. So little Easter egg.
What the fuck?
The original guitarist Milo Benassi from Gym Class Heroes started the band Rah Rah Riot. So that's a whole nother. We can get into that later. But so we got together at Milo's house a couple weeks after that party, and just started jamming in his basement. First, we started doing like Rage Against the Machine covers because it seemed right. We're in high school, we're angry, and we all love Rage. But then I was just like, why don't we try to write some original shit? You know what I'm saying? And I think the first song, this is another Easter egg, the first song that we ever wrote originally together was a song called Toolbox. And we called it Toolbox because Matt was obsessed with Danny Carey from Tool. He made this crazy ass, like, Danny Carey-esque drum fucking pat, like I was just like, yo, this is
on
crazy.
On some Tool shit, going crazy.
On some Tool shit. Yeah. And he was getting it in. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So we called the song Toolbox. You know what I mean? Like, demo status. And then I started writing lyrics. Like, well, I mean, I had been writing poetry and raps for years. You know what I mean? And so I started like, all right, let me try this. Let me see if this works with this. And I think Toolbox was probably the first Gym Class Heroes song ever written. Like,
is it still like accessible? Like, can you?
Oh, no. It was never recorded, but there is a song called Don't Let Me Down.
Okay.
Which is crazy because now that I think, when you were speaking about how young I was when I realized I didn't give a fuck and I was going to take my own path. We wrote a song called Don't Let Me Down. And it was after I watched a movie called Rosewood. And the movie it's with Ving Rhames. It's about a black town in Florida. Just all blacks and all, like, kind of like some Black Wall Street shit, you know what I mean? And a white dude beat the shit out of his wife. And basically she said that a black man did it. So the Klan went to Rosewood, burned the whole shit down. So, like, I'm watching this movie, like, and it's a true story, like, which is even crazier.
Fuck?
So I'm like, this movie just blew my mind. So I wrote this song, and the whole song's basically based on that movie. But you can find Don't Let Me Down somewhere, I'm sure. Like, that was like one of the first songs we ever recorded. I'm pretty sure we did it on like a 4-track cassette like recorder. But
holy
shit. that was like the moment I realized, like, yo, we don't need to do covers anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can make some cool shit. But looking back on it, speaking on shit like Rosewood and Black Wall Street and all that shit, like, at what, 15, 16 years old, I'm like, damn, I was on some shit.
That's
son.
fucking
great. I was super woke when I was in high school.
God, I'm sure you didn't think about it like that deep. You probably just like writing about what you wrote about.
Absolutely.
But like, it just goes back to my thing of like, I think that's insane that you like found you so early, really. Yeah. Because I like, now here's where I'm like, you are the fucking elder brother that like saw the scene that I knew so well first, and we're like in the fucking era of it.
Word up.
You were so deep in Fueled by Family. But I have to imagine, like, once you started running with, and if there's important parts of this story, like stop me and all that, but
For sure.
you start getting discovered and you start getting attention, and like Pete from Fall Out Boy finds you from their merch guy, right? Okay, yeah, go.
So let me run it back. So before the whole Fueled By shit happened, so we recorded. Shout out to Doug White at Watchman Studios, because he was the first. He was basically the first dude to tell us that we were doing something cool. You know what I'm saying? So, and this was at a time like we didn't have money, so we were borrowing money from our families to record. And Doug kind of knew it, but like he was so stoked on what we were doing and how we were blending genres, and you know what I mean? So he was just like, hey, whatever we gotta do, we gotta do it. I mean, you guys pay me when you pay me, whatever. And
what era, like what year?
So this is I think we recorded our first. It was called Greasy Kids Stuff.
Yeah.
And that was before For the Kids, which was like our first full length.
Yeah.
But we did an EP called Greasy Kids Stuff, which was from a Bill Cosby skit, which we won't get into. But
I can see your head going there. I can see you thinking about why you named it that. I mean,
so listen, I'll explain it. I'll explain it real quick. So it's a skit. He's talking about the first time he ever put pomade in his hair, like grease. You know what I mean?
Like some Murray's shit. Like
exactly. And then he goes, and he's like, yeah, you know, like my dad goes, here's some grease. You know what I mean? And then he goes, put it on your head, like like insinuating that he was doing some other shit with it, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo,
Greasy
the dopest
Kid
title
Stuff.
ever, you know what I'm saying? So we did, I think Greasy Kid Stuff had like 3 or 4 original songs on it. But the enthusiasm I saw from Doug producing and recording this shit, I was like, damn, like maybe we're tapped into something that, you know what I mean, that may be special, you know? And then after that, we so this is all before Fueled By Ramen. That was my whole point.
Right.
So Doug was pretty much, he pretty much took on the executive production like task of us, you know, as a band. And he did it with honor. Like every time we go there, he's like, and it's funny, to this day, he still sends Matt videos of bands that he has to record, and it's videos of him just like, and it's like them recording him just going, fuck. Come back to the studio, please. You know what I'm saying?
Like y'all were like friends. Like you had something real. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the more enthused he got, the more it made me enthused that we were doing something cool. You know what I mean?
He like reaffirmed to you that your take was unique, and that like what your combination of everything was special, and the whole band. Yeah.
And he's a musician. He was obviously a musician himself in his own right. And yeah, just that affirmation from him made me want to go home just to write more shit and go back and record, you know what I'm saying? And then, so we went back home after we did Greasy Kid Stuff and listened to it a gazillion times.
Yeah. And
then we're like, yo, we got to go back. And with that said, we didn't have money to like go into a studio and write, you know what I mean? That was foreign to me. Like, and that's something that comes later. So like we had to have shit written, rehearsed, and well rehearsed before we went to the studio, because we didn't have money or time.
You had to get it done quick. You had to have it like,
there's a sense of urgency. Like, yo, like the minute that clock started, like we had to get it in. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, and I got to give it to Doug for putting us in that place, because it made us take our craft seriously. You know what I'm saying? So like, I took writing very seriously, because I like, and not only that, but like I wanted the band to be excited about what I was talking about. You know what I mean? Like, and it's all shit that we could all relate to, but also I wanted to look out when I was recording and see Doug smile. You know what I mean? That was everything to me. Like,
so he was like really fucking important.
He was tapped in. Doug White, you're a saint. I love you. There would be no gym class heroes without Doug White. You know
Crazy.
What I mean?
So like that like early belief from him, and that support and the encouragement was like so important.
For sure.
So you start recording with him.
So we did Greasy Kid Stuff. That was the first EP. And then we did For the Kids, which was our first full length. Okay. And we did that whole shit with Doug. There was a couple songs from Greasy Kid Stuff on that.
Yep.
And then there was just like this evolution of like, all right, now we're taking this seriously.
Yeah.
The artistry comes in. It's like, all right, we made an EP, 4 songs. This is what we do. how do we make a cohesive album, you know, that makes sense, like to not only to people who have never heard anything like this, but to people that enjoy music, you know what I mean? So the title came before the album was done. I was like, we're doing this shit for the kids, you know what I'm saying? Like for all the kids that felt like I felt going through, like you know, like feeling like weird in high school, and not only that, but for all the kids in our hometown of Geneva, you know what I'm saying? Like, and if you ever find the cover for the kids, it's literally us and like 100 little kids from Geneva, just like standing around, like
just
we did
like
this, you know what I'm saying? We did this, but that was also like damn, we can make full albums. Like this is crazy. But then it's like, damn, like I felt like I had said everything at that time. I felt like I had said everything that I could possibly say about what was going on in my life, and I'm like, what do I do next?
Holy fuck!
Then I'm like, shit.
You like wrote a single full length, and you're like, fuck, now what?
Now what? Exactly. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'll just live life and write about it. You know what I'm saying? So I was put on to like bands like Sunny Day Real Estate, you know what I'm saying? And like, just like shit like Elliot, you know what I'm saying? Like just like bands that I'd never heard of, but like they struck a chord with me, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I was heavy into AP, like reading AP magazine forever.
Yeah, because that was the Bible.
That
then.
was the Bible, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I started noticing like this formulaic thing with like these bands, they have these fucking 3-sentence names, or these 3-sentence, like I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Jimmy Eat
like,
World.
Yeah, or you will know us by the trail of the dead. I'm like,
oh yeah.
But as I'm reading,
you're saying like big crazy names.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying like 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, that's a band name?
Yeah,
I thought Gym Class Heroes was a lot, but like, you will know us by the trail of the dead. God damn, y'all going hard. You know what I'm saying? So, but as I'm looking at all these band names in AP, I'm like, I started seeing like this narrative. I'm like, that sounds cool next to this. That sounds cool. I was like, what if I took these band names and you know what? And I'm not sure if I'm sure there's been a lot of comparisons to it, but GZA from Wu-Tang put out a song called Labels, and he took all the big name major labels at the time and basically made a story using the names of the labels.
Shit.
Like,
I didn't even know.
It was like Tommy ain't my motherfucking boy, and I was like, this is genius. So I'm like, damn, I wonder if I could do that with all these
like
band
scene
names.
bands, yeah.
So I wrote Taxi Driver, and I brought it to Matt, and he was like, yo, this shit is crazy. You know what I mean? I'm like, thank you, but like, what do we do now? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, listen, I want to make a song that's like, I want the song to be more focused on the narrative and the story more so than music. So the guitar was very simple.
Yeah.
Matt killed the drums. Matt was a jazz trained drummer, so he's a beast. You know
that was meant to be.
Yeah. So I remember when we posted it to Pure Volume, and people went ape shit.
So it was Pure Volume.
Yeah.
That's where it caught.
That's where it caught. And people went ape shit. And there was a lot of haters like, oh, they're trying to like basically the high school shit I went through all over again.
Oh
like,
my God.
Who's this dude thinks like does he even listen to these bands? You
right.
know what I'm saying? I'm like I'm too grown for this bullshit. Like, fuck y'all.
But that's like, that's sick. Like you evoked the haters. You evoked a response.
The shit came back. And I was like, yo, and honestly, it made me more stoked. I was like, haters gone, hey.
Yeah.
Ballers gone, ball.
Potatoes gonna potate. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry for that. I'm using that shit. So we post Taxi Driver. We post Taxi Driver to Pure Volume.
Yeah.
And so the feedback was kind of like evened out. A lot of haters, a lot of people into it. But this kid Nick Schmecka, shout out to Nick.
I know that.
He reached out to us. So Nick was doing merch. He was doing merch designs for Fall Out Boy for years. He reached out and was like, hey, I love this song, blah, blah. If you guys ever need any merch designs, let me know.
Oh.
So Matt reached out to him and was like, yeah, dude, like send us some shit. And he sent us some really, really dope merch designs. And he's like, yo, like, I don't know if you guys ever heard of this band Fall Out Boy, but like I do some stuff for them. Do you guys mind if I like show them some of your stuff? I'm like, absolutely not. So
did you know Fall Out Boy at the time?
So I had heard of Fall Out Boy.
Okay, but you weren't like, oh my God, huge fan.
Not at all.
You were just like, that's cool. You work with a band, show them, whatever.
Matt played me a couple songs off Take This to Your Grave. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
And then the more I listened to it, I was like, I fuck with it. But the lyric in Taxi Driver say fall out, boy meets girl, Jimmy Eat World.
Fall out. Boy meets girl, Jimmy Eat World, but Schlepp eats pills till he's all out. Not one stop.
Anyway, so Pete heard that shit and he was like, oh shit, he gave us a shout out. You know what I mean? So then Pete reaches out like, yo, like he reaches, I think he either reached out to me or Matt, I can't remember. And he was like, hey, you know, we're doing a show in Buffalo. Come hang out with us. You know what I'm saying? And like, let's chop it up. And I'm like, cool, let's go. Like, so we went to the show in Buffalo. Amberlin was opening up for them, which is hilarious. I was actually just talking about a story about that night earlier. But it was Amberlin, Autopilot Off, and Fall Out Boy. And Fall Out Boy was still on the rise, but seeing every kid in that venue singing every fucking word that song, I looked at Matt, I was like, this is what I want.
Oh
like,
my
this
God.
Is what I want.
That's like one of those life moments where you like, it's fucking burned in your mind. Like you see it and you're like, the bar is here now.
I had never seen anything like that in my life. You know what I mean?
And you had
like,
gone to shows.
Oh, absolutely.
You grew up going to shows. So seeing that
you go to hardcore shows, like everybody's like barking, but you don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Exactly, and it's more moshing, and it's not like this crowd.
It's more of an energy thing.
Yeah.
This thing was more of a connection thing.
Oh my God.
Like,
so that was like, you seeing that moment was.
I was like, let's get it. Like, let's get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I'll never forget this. It was the day that Ray Charles died. Damn, how do I remember that? It was the day that Ray Charles died, and Patrick was in the green room crying. And I was like, he's different. Like, he's different.
If
he's
that
different.
dude,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
he's different. And me and Patrick didn't really talk too much that night. It was more me and Pete. And Pete was kind of like sizing me up. Like, he's like, oh, you got tats, bro. I'm like, yeah, black people get tattoos too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
13 years old, my guy.
For real. Matter of fact, if you want one, I got you. You know what I'm saying? But I just remember telling him like, yo, like, I don't know how you do it, but like, I need to know the secret sauce, bro.
Okay,
like, show me the secret sauce.
So you saw him as a real one. Like after that, you were like, I need to know more about this dude. Absolutely. I need to see what the fuck they're doing. Like it went from band where you're like, this song's cool to like, they get it.
Absolutely. And I dove in deep with them too. Like, you know, like we started talking a lot through emails and shit. Or actually this was Sidekick days. So we were AOLing, you know what I'm saying, aiming or whatever, you know. God. Back in the days when you leave a sad fucking away message, like, and hopes that somebody.
Dude, I was so jealous of the kids with sidekicks. Oh my God. Did you have a sidekick?
I did.
Fuck
and
you.
And it's funny that, you know, my band shitted on me. This is after we signed FBR. I spent like $800 on it. I'm like, why would you spend that much money on the phone? But then 3 days later, like, yo, can I hold that? Let me hold it for a minute. I'm like,
the
no.
Snowboarding game. Did you ever play the fucking the game? It was the one game on the sidekick, and you'd go down the hill and you'd snowboard. Whatever.
I don't remember. It's all good.
It's so good.
I don't remember. I was all about trying to get some titty pics, you know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
So Pete, so peep this. So Paper Cut Chronicles is finished now.
Yep.
And Pete is interested. He's playing taxi driver for Crush Management. For John at FBR. Like,
John Janik.
He's like,
so it's like Janik
I fuck
days,
with these guys. And we decided like, maybe this album isn't finished. You know what I mean? So Matt had set up an entire tour. We had just bought this doo-doo brown van that like literally lasted maybe a week and a half. But we had this whole tour lined up. We went back to Watchmen to try to like do some 11th hour shit. And I had always wanted to fuck around with samples. Like, you know what I mean? Like within the instrumentation. Like, I wonder if we can mix sampling with what we're doing, you know, like with the instruments and with the band. And we decided to bring in Cy, my roommate from college, to do Cupid's Chokehold. Now, originally, I wanted to sample the part where Roger goes, "Don't you look at my girlfriend, cause she's the only one I got. Don't you look at my girlfriend, cause she's the only one I got." And Cy fucked up and he sampled "Take a Look at My Girlfriend, she's the only." So that was a whole mistake. But I was like, you know what? This shit kind of slaps still. So
I can't believe you're saying that because I never understood it. As a kid, I was like, that's weird, but whatever, it just slaps.
So originally it was supposed to be "Don't You Look at My Girlfriend."
Crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. I still fuck with it. And not only that, I was like, it works. You know what I'm saying? And so while we're actually about to go on tour we finished Cupid's Chokehold.
Yeah.
We had a few days like before the tour started.
Yeah.
We had a call from Pete like, hey, do you guys want to play? You guys want to open up for us? I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, cool. It's in Davenport, Iowa. I'm like, fam, we're in Buffalo, New York right now. Like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, like, well, if you guys are down, like, you're more than welcome. Like, Matt, we got to do this shit. Like,
yeah.
Bro, we got in that van and drove our asses off. Like, I can't remember how long it took, but I remember getting to Iowa and being like,
yeah, because if you were chasing the thrill of that Fall Out Boy show, you would have driven anywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. Exactly what we did. And we got there and it was, I'll never forget, it was Fall Out Boy, Bayside, and Armor for Sleep.
Holy fuck.
And we opened up. And I remember just sitting outside the venue all day, like, what's this gonna be like? You know what I mean? Like, is this gonna be weird? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I remember what I saw in Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know these motherfuckers are diehard. So like, I'm like, shit. Well, fuck it. Like, we just gotta do what the fuck we do. And so we opened up before all the other bands, and kids were literally jaw dropped. Like, I mean, I don't know if it was in a like, wow, this is cool, or what the fuck did I just see? But they were just, they were like,
it did something. It evoked something.
Absolutely. So I get off the stage. I'm on a high. I watch the rest of the bands. I'm like, this is crazy. I got to see my second Fall Out Boy show and get to see them rip it again.
Yeah.
And then after the show, Pete comes up to me. He's like, yo, you guys killed it. He's like, yo, I got Bob from Crush on the phone right now. Like,
motherfucker just had him on the phone.
He's like, yo, he wants to talk to you. He's like, I pick up the phone. And he's like, hey, like, you know, when you guys wrap up the tour, I'd love to do a lunch meeting with you guys, and you know, hopefully we can make something happen. And I'm like, cool, sure, you know what I mean? Hang up. I'm like, Pete, like, would you suggest us? He's like, listen, I trust this dude with my life. I'm like, all right, cool, bet, say less. And so we wrapped up that tour after a gazillion fucking van breakdowns and a few head-to-head fights within.
Oh my god, because it was like early touring days.
Yeah,
like,
bro, we're stuck in a van, bro. Just like and you know, like we all have different personalities, and I don't want to shit on Ryan, but he was kind of like an old ornery man in a young dude's body, and it was kind of hard to stay in a van with. And him and I went to blows a couple times, and I still got love for him. You know what I mean? But
it was like early days of like figuring shit out and like getting on the road and roughing it and going through the bullshit hiccups of being a band on tour in a van.
In a van, exactly. So we wrapped up that tour, got back to New York. We had the meeting with Bob, and he was just like, "Yo, I want to represent you guys," and cool. And then came the Fueled by Ramen situation. And we had always been, you know, like being, you know, like the AP days, like we're saying, those were our Bibles, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know, Yellow Card was on Fueled By, Fall Out Boy was on Fueled By. I mean, there was a whole list of bands that I was just like, wow, like if we could be a part of this shit.
Okay, you answered my question because this is what I don't know.
Okay, let's get
I was the kid looking at Fueled By from the other side, and by that time.
So who were some Punchline? So who are some of your favorite Fueled by Ramen bands?
But that's the thing is like it's you guys, it's your era. For me, it's Academy is gym class, Fall Out Boy, Paramore. Like that was the core of oh my god. So like. I'm like, did you know, like, was it as cred and cool? And like, it was the top when I saw y'all on it, but y'all were part of why it was top. So when you were meeting with them, were those bands to me the same way? Were you like, holy fucking shit, I'm going to be on a label with this? Or were you just Pete believes in it, so I'm in?
My thing was, I wanted to be signed to Def Jux. You know what I mean? Like,
see, that's what I was looking for.
I wanted to be signed to Def Jux. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like,
and what was on that? Like, what was like,
so we sent demos to every motherfucker.
But like Def Jux, like what artists, like what did you want to be associated with? I mean, I don't know that.
Look, I could start here. LP's to this day is one of my favorite rappers of all time. Of all time. Aesop Rock. I mean, they didn't. Def Jux didn't put out a record that I didn't fuck with. Ever.
Aesop Rock, that's crazy.
Aesop Rock, Mr. Lift, Cannibal Ox. I mean, the list goes on. Like you had. Party Fun Action Committee, which was like the hip hop Tenacious D, you know what I'm saying? Like LP had his finger on like the pulse. You know
that,
what I mean?
like,
And
that you felt is what I saw Fueled by Ramen as.
Wow.
So I was so curious, like, for you, were you like, oh my God, this is my dream label? Or were you like, all right, these people seem like good people. I saw what Fall Out Boy was doing. I'll give it a chance.
So for me, and that's awesome to hear you say, like I just got tingle bunnies, but like that's awesome to hear you say. For me, the flip side was like, well, if we can't get signed to Def Jux, we can do what I feel we could do on Def Jux with Fueled by Ramen. You know what I'm saying? And like, not only that, everything was so incestuous, for lack of a better word, with Fueled by Ramen. And we literally became this huge family. You know what I mean? We started touring together, like making music together. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was just like, this is everything I wanted to do with Jux. But now it's more, I feel like it's more like genuine. You know what I'm saying? Like here's the thing. Hip hop is so fucking fickle. Like, and I'll keep it 100%. Anybody who wants to detest or defy me, I'll fight you. Fisticuffs. Fisticuffs. You know what I'm saying?
Formal
Like,
fight invitation.
The hip hop, especially the underground hip hop communities,
like
so
those names fickle. That you said, and like absolutely. That scene at that time. That
scene, like, it was like, and had we signed to Jux, I honestly feel like nobody would have fucked with us.
Because you would have been every other thing in that. And that's what I was just going to say, is what you did in that Fueled by family is so fucking important. More important, in my opinion, than any other band. Because for the kid like me, here's where it comes in. And here's what you need to fucking realize, dude. I didn't grow up with a mixed family, right? But I didn't care about that scene as much. I found Warped Tour late. But I had found, like, what was I was listening to like Talib Kweli and like Beastie Boys, but then like mixed with like Blink 182.
Absolutely.
So when I didn't know Fall Out Boy, I didn't know these bands. It sounded similar, and I was like, oh, this is cool. But I had like the like Green Day, Blink 182, or then the other complete different side where I was listening to like Snoop Dogg with my brother, or like, you know, things like that. So like me finding gym class in Fueled by Ramen, that was the thing. And then the fucking family, dude. And I talk about the family so much, and it hasn't been like this since then. And I want to hear everything because I idolize that. You guys did songs like how Patrick came and sang on your songs, or William on 7 Weeks. I'm like, they were like, you guys all toured together, and there was stories and lore and community. Like,
you just brought me back to the Fueled by Ramen and Friends tour, which was probably one of my favorites. I mean, there's definitely tours I've done that outshine that tour, like just because I was geeking out with who I was on tour with. Like, for instance, like we co-headlined with The Roots.
What?
And Estelle opened, and I was just like, how the fuck? Like, how? But that's later on. But back just real quick, back to the Jux and FBR thing. Is like everything I wanted to do on Def Jux, I'm gonna do ×2 with FBR. You know what I'm saying? And whenever we do interviews, people and we get this shit all the time. Like, how do you guys fit on this roster? How do you feel being surrounded by pop punk and emo bands? I'm like, well, one, we feel fucking awesome because they've accepted us into this family. But two, it's like, does it really matter? And I used to always refer to us as the adoption. And please don't take this any type of way, but I used to say that we felt like the adopted Asian baby on Fueled by Ramen. It's like, hey, look at this cute little baby we have. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what the fuck it's gonna grow up to look like, but it's cute right now.
You certainly didn't fit in with the rest of what everyone looked like or sounded like.
Not at all.
I don't think that's taken the wrong way at all. I think it was just like very apparent.
For sure.
That's my point. And this is where it comes back to all of me wanting to know about how much of an outcast you were in all of this. Because if you had gone to Jux, you would have been like even Aesop Rock, not that many people know him really, like not in the scale of things, and he was a legend.
Not as many as they should. They should. You know what I mean?
So by you going to Fueled By, instead, you gave an entire generation to me. Like, you made FBR Jux.
I think
by going against the grain.
Absolutely. I think we made FBR cooler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they had already had already had like their finger on the pulse of what was popping. You know what I mean? But
a huge risk all around. Like, it wouldn't have been the same. It was the missing piece.
But you know what did it for me? And but also scared the shit out of me. The first tour that we did with FBR was with Less Than Jake. And I don't know if you've ever been to a Less Than Jake show, but Less Than Jake fans don't fuck with nobody but Less Than Jake.
Well, yeah, and it's like it's like ska. Like it's like a whole different side of like, so I can't imagine gym class.
They throw us on tour at Less Than Jake, but like our first show, we got all the fans dancing and fucking. I'm like, I was frightened because like John Janik was like, hey, actually it wasn't John Janik, it was Vinny, the drummer from Fueled By Ramen. He's like, hey, like he's like, bro, like I want to let you know. And Vinny,
the drummer of Less Than Jake, who was a part of founding Fueled By Ramen.
Him and John Janik started Fueled By Ramen, and he hit me. He was like, listen, I just want you to know, like our fans are pretty fucking, loyal and like. I just don't want you to get bummed out if shit don't go the way he's like, just do you and like be genuine. And I took that to heart and I just did me. And the first show I went on the bus. He was like, and the whole band, everybody else, just Roger, everybody just like, yo, you guys fucking smashed tonight. I can't wait for this tour. And I'm like, that's all the validation I needed. All the validation I needed. You know what I mean? To hear that shit from Vinny and everybody else in the band, like especially like going into it thinking like, yo, we're about to get murdered. Like they're gonna hate us. We're about to get tomatoes thrown at us. Like
dude.
Maybe knives. I don't know. Yeah, it was super scary. But like you got to take those fucking chances. You know what I mean? You got to take those fucking chances, and we did. And that's another tour that goes down in the books for me. You know what I mean? Because it opened me up to like being comfortable. Uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? Like being comfortably uncomfortable, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. It does make sense. And that's like, again, like you set that example that was okay, because when I saw you, I wouldn't have known it. You just fucking owned it. But now when I'm talking to you and you're sharing it, I get it. And I'm like, that must have been fucking hard. But when I saw you, like at the days of like, once you're finally like, you're fueled by ramen, you have the cosign, you're popping.
Yeah.
You were the fucking coolest person at work because you were different and no one could fake that.
They can't, you can't.
So like all that struggle that you went through, all the uncertainty, all the risk by not doing jokes and by doing Fueled By makes you the role model that nothing can replicate and makes you the fucking forefather of all of this culture. Like this episode is so fucking important to me because I like, and it doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter that people do or don't know that about you. Yeah. But I'm just like, it has to be understood how fucking cool that was, because that I have a fucking career in music because I gave a shit because of like finding these early times. And you're just this cool motherfucker that's like, yeah, I really cared and I wanted to do this thing. Like it's so important to me.
Fam, like to be honest with you, like there's people who can fake being cool. Then there's cool people. Then there's people who think they're cool. You know what I'm saying? like I think like there's levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like in the beginning, and I don't know if you remember like early gym class shows, like, and I don't do it as much anymore, but like this was my defense mechanism whenever I'd feel uncomfortable. I would make faces and shit. Like,
that was like a lot of your promo photos and shit too.
People were like, yo, like, this motherfucker's like the hip hop. I was quoted as being the hip hop Jim Carrey. Like, I think, and I think in one AP article they called me elastic face or some shit. Like,
no way,
Travie McCoy and his elastic face. But that was a way for me, like me making faces and like distorting my face and doing like weird shit and like that made me comfortable on stage. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, how can you be like how can you be mad at a dude that just made you fucking piss your pants? You know what I'm saying? Like by pulling a face. Like and like looking back on some of those shows, I'm just like, what the fuck were you doing? Yeah. But I was like carving a way for me to maneuver through this shit without feeling like I wasn't meant to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And with like the very apparent, like you weren't meant to be there. You weren't.
But I wasn't
so
shucking and jiving. I just found my own way, you know, whether it's like, you know what I mean? Like it just made me comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And at that time, everybody was swinging their mics around and fucking trying to be James Brown, but they had no rhythm. So it looked completely out of place. You know what I mean? But I was like, hey, like, if that's what makes you comfortable, do it. Me pulling faces and fucking hocking loogies in the air and catching them in my mouth makes me comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like that was like, it was your way to become your own performer.
Absolutely.
Dude. But like that, like, oh my God. Okay. So this is, you can see how excited I am about this era.
I'm with it.
So I also want to know, like, you understand how much I like that. I expressed that of how much I think that you were this founder of that. I want to know for you then what it looks like to you and where your headspace is. Like at what point do you think like, okay, we're good? Not necessarily we made it, but like, we're going to go play this show and I know we're the coolest people on the bill. Maybe you're not headlining, but like, you know that you're about to go fucking kill it. You know gym class is a thing. Like you know the stride is there.
So for me, like we wiggled our way into the Fueled by Ramen family.
Yep.
Got accepted with open arms.
Yep.
There were a couple bands that didn't really fuck with us, and I guess on with that being said, fuck Yellow Card. Sorry.
You know what?
Sorry.
I'm not one to. It's not worth the energy.
Yeah.
But that's crazy you say that. And I thought that I was one of the only people that had a very negative experience with them.
Fuck that band.
But like, they're not worth the energy, and I want to hear about the dope shit.
But I will tell you this.
Quick break right here to let you know that support for Where Are All My Friends is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. All right, so check it out. The Performance Package 4.0 has arrived, and it is a game changer. They sent me this package, and I was legitimately impressed. The entire presentation of it, everything that comes in it, it's just sick. It's such high quality. It's really, really good. And I didn't want to talk about it until I tried it. But the Lawnmower 4.0 is a trimmer with this rad ceramic blade. It reduces grooming accidents because of it. And it is waterproof, so you no longer need to shave on the floor of your bathroom. You can just pop into the shower and get it done nice and clean. We love that. On top of that, they send you a whole bunch of other rad stuff. They send you the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Toner. They send you performance boxers and a travel bag to hold it all together. And I can't forget the little weed whacker for your ear and nose hairs. So good. Altogether, it's legitimately a product that I really love. It changed the game for me, so you can change the game for yourself as well and level up your hygiene game. And again, to do so, go to manscaped.com, get free shipping and 20% off with the code WAAMF20. Again, 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com. Use the code WAAMF20. So unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, back to it.
So me being a person of color, I went up to the drummer like, hey, we just signed to Fueled by Ramen, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool to be, you know what I mean? Like a part of that. He's like, oh, well, we just signed Atlantic, and walked away. And I was like, eat a whole dick, motherfucker. So like from that point on, I was just like, fuck them dudes. But then when, and this has nothing to do with anything, but when they tried to sue Juice WRLD after he passed, I was just like, really fuck Yellow Card. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
dude,
y'all motherfuckers ain't doing shit. Now you trying to fucking make some money off somebody dead who cherished you as a band. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like that was the biggest fucking, like, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Going back to like, you had a few influential people, like early people that like, had it not been for them believing in you when you were in your formative years, and like your guidance counselor and your first producer, like these people, it's the opposite of that. When you have like the bully band like them and they're like too cool for you, you're like, all right, fuck you then, hold my beer while I go get world famous.
That
like
part.
you know what I'm saying though? Like, it's the one or the other. You either have the people that believe in you or the people that are so fucking laughably rude to you where you're like, all right, fuck you then, hold my beer, watch me go do this. Bro, Did you have that?
I'll never forget, and not to chomp on this for too long, and like you said, not to waste any energy on it, but when he walked away from me, I was just like, damn, like I thought I had a partner in this shit. Like I thought
family.
I was like, yeah,
fueled by family. You thought like the way Pete was, and
well, being a person of color, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not alone.
Oh my god.
But then this motherfucker just literally left me hanging like, yeah, we're not on Fueled By Ramen anymore. We're on Atlantic, and just walked away. And I was like, after I watched their whole set,
And if you were to have one fucking easy homie as far as being an outcast, you're like, yo, what
you're
up,
my
other
man.
black
And
kid in this scene?
He walked away from me like I wasn't shit, and like I hope, and I don't wish nothing bad on nobody, but like
that was
he could eat a whole fat dick. Like,
that was a time of like to be rude or not be rude. Like that was a time where it was like you really didn't have to be rude there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, all right, cool, bro. You like shake my hand and just
anything.
Anything.
Okay, but
don't walk away from me like now I'm on a major label, so eat a dick. Like it was weird. Dude. It was really weird, and it left a really bad taste in my mouth. But it also made me realize that, or not made me realize, but I told myself I'd never treat anyone like how I was treated by him. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
ever. You know
because that's like I got that. Like when I would watch like that era and see you, like it felt like this. You fucking knew you were the outcast. You knew you were the different one.
Owned it.
But you were so fucking happy to be there.
Absolutely.
You were so like, it was family. And it was like this fun game of like, yeah, motherfuckers, I am at Warped Tour.
Real. Absolutely.
And I loved that.
We earned our stripes, you know what I'm saying? We put in that work, but at the end of the day, it's like, I look back on those days, like the early Fueled By Ramen days, and I'm just like, yo, like, if I ever had a chance to be a part of a family like that again, where, you know, everybody understood everybody and everybody was doing something different, but somehow it all made sense, bro, I would drop everything right now to be a part of something like that again. You know what I'm saying? Like everything right now to be a part of something like that again. But in the same sentence, I probably wouldn't.
Well, okay, but check me out. In that, I think that that's a thing. And again, it doesn't matter. We don't have to be the people talking about the good old days, but that is an element of family and community and music that I don't think has been the same since then. And I don't think like it doesn't matter. I'm so here for the next generation and for anyone to reinvent.
Oh, it's coming.
Like, it's always going to be.
It's coming.
But like that, how formative that was in like learning that you could build an entire community of misfit kids shaped my entire teenage years. And like y'all were the fucking ambassadors of that. And like, you know,
crazy.
Like that's it.
That's crazy.
That's it.
Me, you know what I'm saying?
I have another question. And you said Aaron Gillespie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So he was on the podcast a little while back. Fucking incredible homie, Florida fam.
The illest.
I asked him this question and Tim from the band. But it was really fun. And like you were a fucking hero of Warped Tour. But did you have a moment? I guess it doesn't have to be Warped Tour, but like a moment where you were just like, oh, fuck. Like, we're big. Like for them, they broke a stage in Atlanta. And they both talked about like that moment, and it was like Chasing Safety Era. But like, did you have a moment where like you're on a stage, or like there's just like a single specific moment where you're like, oh shit, it happened?
Not necessarily Warped Tour specific.
It doesn't have to be Warped Tour, but they just happened to mention it. But I'm curious, like, what your moment is of like,
there's a bunch of moments where I was just like, okay, shit is getting real. But I think one that stands out for me, probably the Kanye shit that happened. Kanye did a show in Vegas, and midway through the set, he stops the whole show. He's like, stop. He's like, yo, stop. Everybody stop. And he's like, yo, I was on my way to the show, and my driver put on his song. And I was like, yo, turn that shit up. And he's like, I want you to hear that shit right now. And he played Cupid's Chokehold.
No fucking way.
Yo, it's on YouTube. You can find it. Pete actually sent me the link, and I was like, is this real life? You know that the video of the little kid that comes from the dentist. And he's like, is this real life? Like that's how I felt. I was like, this shit didn't just happen. Like,
I didn't even know.
He stopped the entire show and was like, yo, play that shit right now. And,
what year do you think that was?
Hodge, what do you say? 2006, 2007?
Around there. College Dropout was 2004 or 5. So like he was like in. Like he was fucking huge.
All the way in. It was probably before 808s and Heartbreaks.
Okay. Oh, so he was in.
Well, it had to be when Cupid was popping. Like so 5.
Five, so
Around
like
5,
graduation
yeah.
era.
Yeah,
Oh my
absolutely.
god! So he's fucking long. Did you meet him? Like, did that come of anything?
So I played Scrabble with Kanye. Like,
you played Scrabble with Kanye West.
What?
I need no other celebrity
Pete.
stories. That is the best thing I have ever fucking heard.
So I lived with Pete for a few months out here in LA, and he's like, "Yo, I'm about to go play Scrabble with Kanye. You want to come?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, what? Do I want to come play Scrabble?" Like, one, not only did I fucking, when I was fucking 14 years old, try to rewrite the entire dictionary in notebooks just so I could remember words. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna work with words, I might as well. I mean, like,
that's crazy.
I'll fuck anybody up in Scrabble. You know what I'm saying?
Tell
so I'm
me
like,
you won.
Let's go. I didn't though.
Stop it. No.
Pete fucked everybody up. Like,
no.
I thought I was a wordsmith. Pete's a motherfucking genius. Like he's a genius.
Is this like a thing amongst lyricists where y'all like meet and fucking play Scrabble? Is this like a ranking thing?
Maybe it may be, but that was my only experience with it. But I will say this: like, if that's what you do for a living, I mean, whatever you do for a living, you gotta dive in face deep. You know what I'm saying? And for me, like, I remember at a very young age, I was like, fuck it, like, I want to know what all these words mean. And that was before rhyming dictionaries existed.
Yeah.
I just want, like, and for me, it was like, whenever you write something down, it's committed to memory. You know what I mean? Like, especially I write it. If I write it, I remember it. You know what I mean? So I think I got to the R's and then I gave up.
I mean, that's fucking far, dude.
It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wait, but so Kanye plays it.
Yeah.
Pete, you go play fucking Scrabble with Kanye West. Pete beats you both. That's hilarious.
Destroyed us.
That's this moment. So like 2005-ish, you're like, oh fuck, this might be real. I'm playing Scrabble with Kanye West and he's playing my songs at shows.
It's pretty intense. And honestly, there's been no like no communication since.
You guys aren't like playing Words with Friends together now? Like, let me tap back in with Kanye.
Nothing since, but yeah, like that was for me. Like, I mean, I had to geek down a lot. I was like, all right, I'm going to this man's house. Like, he's Kanye West, whatever. Like, he's on the top of his shit right now. And but we're going to play Scrabble. So like fuck it. Like, we're playing Scrabble. You know what I'm saying? Like,
as anyone
would.
But
yeah, that was a moment and a half for sure.
Because my next question to that is, you basically became like, you were like fucking celebrity, highest celebrity of celebrity. Like, you transcended the scene. Was that a thing you had to like get good at? Like, were you good at it? Was it?
I was
weird?
horrible at it. I was absolutely horrible.
Did you want
at being a celebrity. And I had seen, and I won't name names, but I had seen people like literally like working hard to be celebrities. You know? Like, they were in the position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they had like, you know, the backing and the cosigns and all that shit, but like, it was a job. And I was like, that's the last thing. I'm like, being a musician is a job in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? And being a performer is a job in and of itself. Being a celebrity is a job I don't want to even fucking fill out a goddamn application for.
Right. Like, miss you like, with it. That was not the intention. That whole
shit. Absolutely. So
that's so interesting.
Seeing people, like, again, I won't mention names, but like, you know, like, I'd be with people and they get a call like, hey, you know, TMZ's at this place right now. You should probably go there. And like,
oh, it's
I
like
would
that.
Never
like
waste gas to go to get pictures taken of me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like it like.
But certain people were like, it was like a thing of like, it
was like, I mean, I've seen schedules. Like, I've literally seen schedules like, they'll be here, this time, blah blah. Like, make a couple of them. You know what I mean? Make a couple appearances, and I'm just like, man, like, after all the shit I have to do in the studio, on stage, you know, like, connecting with fans, the last thing I want to do is fucking like be this weird fucking zoo animal for people who really don't give a fuck about what I'm doing as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just want to see what sneakers I have on, or you know what I mean? Like, when we you know, when things started like really moving for gym class, whenever I went back home, I had to tell everybody about like how the tour went, and it became this like, it just became so like what's the word I'm looking for? It just became so
Like
robotic. You know what I mean? Like, all right,
automatic.
it's the same shit like I told you last time. You know what I mean? Like, we hit a city, we crush it, get on the bus, and it's on to the next. And there was a part of me that was like, well, fuck it. Let me just show you instead of telling you. So I would bring, friends on tour. I'd bring family out on tour. So just so I didn't have to go home and repeat the same stories over again. You know what I mean? But then, there were people in my life who were talented, and I'm in this position now and I have this platform. I'm like, well, why the hell would I not use this platform to help them get to where, not necessarily get to where I'm at, but to help them get to a place where they can help other people. You know what I mean?
Do you think that comes back to you being that lost kid though? Because like two things that we talked about in this pod is like how you were the outcast and how the few people that really understood you were everything to you. And then how the assholes were also the everything of the fuck you. Like, do you think you felt that of like, now if I'm in a position where I can help these people?
I think you hit it dead on the head. Like, but I think it also goes back to what we were talking about earlier about being a people pleaser, from a young age, like wanting to make everyone happy and not wanting to let anyone down. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was deep rooted, like even before I started making music, through my father. You know what I mean? My father's been my superhero my entire life. You know what I mean? Like coming from a small town, Geneva, like wherever we went, no matter where we went, like people, hey, my dad's name's Homer. Like, hey, Homer, how's it going? Like, I'm like, Dad, how do you know all these people? It's like, I'm just nice. I'm a nice guy. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, shit, being a nice guy must go a long way. You know what I mean? And
that was like an important thing that you noticed, right?
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
My grandfather, I had that with my grandfather. Really? Everyone in town knew him, and I thought it was so cool.
It's super cool.
Not like I wanted the clout, or like not like I like, but there was just something about that of like, wow.
It's not about clout. I think it's more about respect.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's way more about respect than clout. And my dad is so well respected in my hometown, and just like how I wanted what Pete had and what Fall Out Boy had with their fans is what I wanted with my not only my hometown, but just with the world. I wanted people to know that I was a nice guy, and you know what I mean? I wanted to be waved at, and you know what I mean? Like, hey, you know what I mean? And it's crazy that we're talking about it now, because we just did a So What Music Festival, and I can't tell you how many kids came up to me and were like, yo, like, I wouldn't have got through this if it wasn't for you. I wouldn't be making music if it wasn't for you. I had motherfuckers coming up to me calling me dad, like you're my dad. I'm like,
he's just like the respect.
I'm like, oh shit, I'm becoming my dad. You know what I'm saying? And in a different sense,
right?
But it's something that's always been like near and dear to my heart. Is like I said, it's beyond clout. It's more about respect. And I think it was the first or second day at So What, I went back to the hotel and I cried. I was like, damn, I didn't know I had this type of impact on people. You know what I'm saying? Like kids were coming up to me crying, like, yo, like, I can't believe I'm meeting, like, and like, not just like any kids. I'm talking about like big brolic motherfuckers from Texas. Like, yo, like, bro, like, you got me through this. And like, it was intense. It was intense. And, for my fiance to be there with me and see that, it was kind of like, not that I needed to be validated in any way, shape, or form, but she was just like, yo, like, you did that.
For her,
you did that.
Too,
and I was just like, I broke down in tears, and they were happy tears. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, if I could be what my dad was for me, for anybody else, like, I've done my job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've done my job.
That's so fucking sick. And that's what I wanted to hear, because I didn't know, but I had a feeling that it wasn't about the clout and like the very fuck you famous A-life Travie that you could have been. Like, that's not it. You were just like, I just want to help my. And
That's the reason why I never moved to Los Angeles, because I didn't want to lose touch with that. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
thought
I feel
that might be it.
I felt like had I moved out here, this whole podcast would went a lot differently. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
dude, right?
It would have went a lot
I
differently.
fear it living here. Like being the slightly small town, like Florida person,
Yeah.
I have to go home a lot to check myself into like reset because it creeps up on you.
You have to.
Fucking creeps up on you.
That's exactly why whenever me and Hodge come out here, I do what the fuck I gotta do and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
You know
dude, and I respect like that shows that you're a real one.
Word up.
And okay, actually, this goes to like the next point and kind of like the other thing that was really important that I wanted to talk to you about on this is like talking about being a real one. Like, dude, you did it. Like you won the game. Like you did the touring and you did the stuff and you had the moments and the fucking huge songs and I don't know like what platinum and diamond, but like you've had the singles.
Got some plaques,
like,
bro. Got some plaques.
Yeah, you could probably fill a room or two. Like you fucking did it. Like, bro, you could be chilling. So many people get to such a lesser spot and then like go into the shadows and do their thing. But like you're here right now.
Word up.
You're out in LA doing press and like it's not like you're like stoked and thrilled to be in LA, right? Like you know that's
here's
not
the thing. Like as long as I know like my window, like and it doesn't as long as I know my window, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Fair.
If it's like, all right, we going out there until we get everything done, I'm like, bro, I need a hard hour. You got to give me a hard hour. Like, you know
but my point to all of that is like, I think that if you're here right now and you put out Never Slept Better, I have a theory that it doesn't matter to you at all about any of like the chasing numbers or the things. I think that you're an artist that has to just keep making art when you believe in it. But I don't want to say that for you. So like, tell me, here you are now doing it all like again and like putting this album out. Like what?
So speaking on that, like I can recall the fear I used to have about numbers and about, like sales and charts and all that shit. That shit is it's been out the window. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's more about, and it's for years, it's been about how this connects with people. It's always been like this innate thing in the back of my head where I it used to be this innate thing in the back of my head where I'm like, damn, like I wonder what first week's gonna be like. And the minute I got out of my situation with Atlantic and my old management company, all that shit was out the window. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, like, if you fuck with the record, you fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, you don't. But I will do everything in my power to fucking show you and make you feel how much I put into this body of work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Whoa.
I feel like that means more than any number on any chart or any, copies or streams sold. You know what I'm saying? Like, and always will.
But what's fucking crazy is now for the first time, it's gone back to that.
Absolutely.
I think so. And I think both you and I, like my touring days, and again, like you have time on me. Like I saw you at the tour before I got to tour, but like it was a bad habit and a bad culture around stressing on scans and album sales. And like,
well, it takes away from the artistry, you know what I mean? Like, cause now you're not making art for yourself, or you're not making art for those that you love. You're making art for charts.
Yes.
You're making art for people that don't have a musical fucking bone in their body. You know what I'm saying? And like, I did it for too long. You know what I'm saying? And
it's a bad habit. It's
a terrible habit.
Yeah.
And was I successful in doing so? Kinda.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I mean,
was I happy? Kinda. You know what I'm saying? But like with putting Never Slept Better out with Hopeless, it brings me back to those FBR days, because now I'm surrounded by a whole team of people who believe in this album so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and are constantly tapping in, like, hey, how's it going? Like, blah, blah. Like, yo, like it feels like those FBR days again. And I don't want to compare FBR and Hopeless, but because it's a whole new realm
It's
for
a
me.
whole new
But
era. It's
but
everything.
it's also
yeah.
full circle for me to go back after experiencing, you know, this crazy meteoric rise to fame or whatever, you know, this marginal celebrity, whatever you want to call it. But
I think it's more than marginal. Like I'll be the guy to say it.
I'm just a humble motherfucker, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to go full circle and to be on an indie label, here's the thing, like major labels, like and I'm gonna keep the shit talking to a bare minimum, but they're not concerned with art. They're not concerned with art. You know what I'm saying? They're concerned with numbers. They're concerned with fucking money.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing, like if this shit don't work out for Hopeless, like as far as, you know, like they're gonna make this shit work out. You know what I'm saying? Like they've invested, like they have an investment in me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
whereas major labels, they have a whole crab bucket full of artists that they can just toss
You're buying lottery tickets.
Exactly. It's
You're
like
buying lottery tickets.
absolutely.
Whereas
So like,
you're fighting a battle together at an indie.
and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's literally put a brand new battery in my back, like where I'm like, hey, like I'm about to work just as hard as you guys are. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like,
dude.
And I never felt that with Atlantic. I felt like, well, if I don't have a song that they don't fuck with, then I have to keep going back to the drawing board until something hits. And I'm like,
and that has to fuck with you as an artist.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But not no more. Not no motherfucking more.
So like this is like a
I do
whole
what I
other
want.
era of you. Like you get to like come back to that same
Absolutely.
spark of that dude that was my fucking hero
And
of
it
these
feels
days.
amazing. And it feels amazing. And not to cut you off, but
That's it.
it feels amazing to hear you say these things. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people that have been riding with me since the beginning of my career that feel the same way with this album being put out. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, like he did this like for us, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I did for myself and for y'all, you know what I'm saying? And back to the Hopeless thing, like couldn't have done it without him. I was in a dark place when, you know, mid record where gym class was falling apart. You know, I was going through shit with, you know, like personal shit, like friends passing away, and it's just a lot of shit. You know,
I mean, you
the
listen
pandemic,
to your lyrics,
all that shit,
like,
bro. You know, like
all you have to do is listen to your lyrics to know you've lived some fucking life. Like, good God, yeah, yeah.
for real.
But like, bro, like it's crazy to me because too, it's not even just this album. To me, I just really respect, like, clearly you're here because you want to create and make something and make art. And like, that shit is the shit that I respect. It's like, that was the person that went against the grain in the beginning, that wore the shirts when you were called out, that fucking was the band playing shows with less than Jake where you didn't fit in, like that courage, that like that it was an authentic
and facing
drive.
that fear, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Facing that fear, like,
and like here you are still as an artist being like, all right, like I'm gonna show back up and I'm gonna prove it fucking again, and I'm gonna do, like, you didn't have to, but you did for the love of it, and like that's so fucking cool to me.
And I'll keep doing it.
Thank you for
that. That's a pinky promise. Touch thumbs and lock it. Oh, you gotta lock it. Let me show you how to do this. There you go. That's how you do it. That's how you lock it. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't know, now you know.
I know. Yeah. So you can have what is it? What did I give you? Potato.
Oh goddamn. Potato. God, you made me fuck up.
Fuck. It was there. I said it.
Potato the potato.
It
or some
was.
shit.
It was. Fuck me. I say it all.
We got it. We got it on film. We run it back. You got to text it to me. You said,
Deanna, we'll run it back.
Yeah. You
fucking
potato.
All right. Well, I feel like we did the goddamn thing. I could probably talk to you for like, this could be like its own fucking podcast. It's just I ask you every chapter of history. But
if you ever want to do it, let me know. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Let me know.
Well, until we get to that, to conclude, is there anything we should shout out or?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you. You know what I mean, for taking the time and well, not only just taking the time, but like, fam, like you brought up shit that I forgot about. You know what I'm saying? And brought me back to a place that again, like were my formative years, and I wouldn't be here if not for what you were talking about earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like you walking by that MySpace tent and going, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was always in the back of my head, like, somebody's gonna walk by and come in here. And then it got to a point where like we're in the tent, but like there was a crowd from the tent all the way to the main stage. I'm like, and Kevin Lyman's like, how the fuck? Like, wait, what? You know what I mean? But beyond all that shit, I want to thank you for having me on. I want to thank my manager Hodge, you know what I mean, for believing in me this whole time.
And making this podcast
and for making this shit happen, you know what I mean? I want to thank everybody at Hopeless, you know what I mean? Lewis, Tobin, Aaron, Josh, Nicole, list goes on. I want to thank all my friends and family, all my fans who've stuck with me throughout the years, you know what I mean? There was a huge gray area, but I think now that you get to digest this album, you know that I wasn't just home jerking my dick. I was putting in work, you know what I'm saying? And chronicling what was going on in my life. And now you get to hear what I was up to. But all in all, I just want to thank like the creator for making me. I want to thank Sade for having my mom and dad get together and make me. I want to thank Fueled by Ramen for giving me my motherfucking jump off. I want to say fuck you to Yellow Card.
Yep.
I want to say fuck you to Saves the Day. I want to say fuck you to anybody who feels a type of way about me saying that. And I want to say I love you to anybody who loves me. That's Dude, about it, bro.
That's my favorite sign off ever.
Love, brother.
All right, there you go. The Travie McCoy episode. I can't believe I'm saying that. That was a really special full circle one. Massive shout out to Hodge. Thank you for making that happen. And I hope you guys liked this. If you did and you're here at the end, I want to try this. I want to hook up anybody that made it here to the end and that has supported the podcast. So if you're here at the end, send me a DM and send me the word potato. Random word. Send me potato in a DM or a message and I'll mail you some stickers for Where Are All My Friends. If you want to go above and beyond, rate the podcast, subscribe if you haven't already. All those little things are super helpful for podcast discovery and it helps me continue to grow the show and talk to more rad people. And then if you want to support the show, there is the Where Are All My Friends Patreon. That's patreon.com/Where Are All My Friends. Any contribution there is massive and helps it all keep going. Most importantly, just thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking around. This one was really special. The more people that hear it, the more people that enjoy it. I don't know. It means a lot to me. I love doing this podcast and I love telling stories like this. So more so than anything, I just hope you enjoyed it like I did. I'll be back next week with another episode. Thank you for listening.